Okay, so we'll do another chant just to keep the energy up. So just follow me. What do we want?
What do we want?
When I say what do we want, you say DreamAg. And when I say when do we want it, you say now. But you have to be loud, okay? Okay, what do we want?
DreamAg!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
DreamAg!
When do we want it?
Now!
I can't hear you. What do we want?
DreamAg!
When do we want it?
Now!
Okay, now we're going to have Marlon, please. Where's Marlon? Okay. There she is.
Hello everyone, my name is Marlon, and today is the first time I ever share my story publicly. For years, being an undocumented student has been one of my most intimate secrets, only shared among family and close friends. While being undocumented is something not simple, it is something that I am no longer afraid to admit, and now I can openly share. I arrived with my mother to the United States over 15 years ago. Since then, I have never gone back to Mexico. At the time my mother had come to meet up with my father, they had little or no intention of staying here. Yet, I am here 15 years later, in the U.S., and more American than Mexican. To me, the United States is my only home. While I have embraced the U.S. as my home, the U.S. has only done nothing but to slam a door in my face by not allowing me to pursue a college education. Like every other normal college student, I am faced with the struggle of having to pay for my tuition out of my own pocket without any financial aid and little to almost no opportunity for scholarships. Why is it that being undocumented should limit my love for the country that I want to contribute back to and the place that I call home? During my entire high school career, I focused on building an extensive resume, one that would impress colleges. I took honors classes and advanced placement classes. I became junior varsity of both the volleyball team and of the lacrosse team. My art constantly received awards and was constantly in art shows. I constantly donated my time to community service. On top of it all, I began to work my junior year. I became part of the top 15% of our class to graduate out of 500, and I graduated as a member of the National Junior Honor Society. Yet, I still remember the day when I broke down in tears in my guidance counselor's office as we reviewed my college options. With my accomplishments, getting accepted was not far from reach. The only thing that would keep me back was the cold fact that I am a non-documented student. As we crossed out each of the names of the colleges, each line was like a stab to my heart. Everything I had worked so hard for, in a sense, had been for nothing. I would not be having the college experience I had imagined, and to say the least, the one that I deserved. My counselor was highly torn away by the injustice being committed against me, and many other fellow dreamers who suffered from the same dilemma. I can never forget watching my counselor break down into tears alongside me and saying that when one door closes, many other doors open. That is why today I am here at Lehman, in fellow company of my other dreamers, and of a new community which has opened up new doors to me, the Dream Team. I now know that I am not alone. I stand here to share my story, to encourage other dreamers to join the fight and to never give up, to fight for the injustice being committed against fruitful individuals with potential, seeking to bring about change and to give back to the nation, which is what we call home. While the fight is at its peak, we must all gather together and celebrate our efforts and honor our talents. I am more hopeful than ever that change is coming. I can only hope that change comes sooner than later for us dreamers who only wish to call this our home and make it our home forever. And today is like the first time I share my story, so I'm like a little nervous. And I'm just very proud to be up here and to represent the dream community, which I know is seeking for change, and I know that change is coming. And I'm very proud of everyone who's here today to support us. And thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marlon, for that and for being courageous and stepping up. Now we're gonna have Louis.
So, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Those are the core values of the Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, the JROTC. And throughout my life, well, my high school career, I adhered to them. I did tons of community service. I was very active in doing extracurricular activities. I had a job, and I even managed to maintain my average. And I was the second highest student in my school, of my class. I was proud to wear the Air Force uniform. I was very excited when we used to go to competitions around the country, to Georgia. We used to compete, go to nationals, drill championships. And I was really excited because I had a group of friends who were the world to me. And I was asking myself, the greatest thing that I can do for my country, the greatest act of patriotism, would be to enlist in the military, especially the Air Force. And so I was very excited. I was very active in the JROTC. I was held like the third highest command within the unit. And yet I didn't see myself pursuing a college education. I mean, even though in my studies were really up there, and I was really participating. My grades were A's, but I didn't see myself as a college student. I saw myself as an airman of the United States Air Force. Yet when it came to the time to talk to recruiters, they always tended to ask 9 magic digits, your social security. And I always looked at them. I was afraid to even say that I was undocumented because I didn't know what to do. I only saw this picture. Here I was trying to give my life for a country that I love and call home, yet it refused to accept me and to even embrace what I could do for them, for this country. And so I am thankful for my sergeant, who gave me great support. And he essentially told me that no matter, even though I was undocumented, they needed people like me to help this country, because after all, this country was made of immigrants. Yet I refused to listen to that. As soon as I learned that I couldn't enlist in the Air Force, I wanted to throw my life away. I just basically stopped going to school. I was getting into very rebellious. I was just doing crazy things that I shouldn't be doing. And my grades were falling down. I was getting phone calls to my house. And so one day, my sergeant, he talked to me again, and he explained to me that he was doing everything he could do to find resources for me to enlist in the military, in the Air Force. And he talked to me, he gave me his full support. And yet, I still felt unwelcome in this country. And so my mom and my parents, they were very supportive of me. They told me to pursue my college education. And so during my senior year, I was struggling to apply for different colleges. But I knew that my average I was really an excellent student. I had a job, I was doing community service, I was helping the homeless, I was doing extracurricular activities. But I was still struggling to find resources. I was really getting scared to even talk to the admissions office and say, hey, I'm undocumented, do you have any resources for me? Yet my counselor, she was really supportive, and she found the resources that I needed, especially CUNY, the CUNY system, which is great for undocumented students. It allows you for in-state tuition. But nonetheless, I still applied to different colleges. I applied to Fordham University, Iona, and St. John's. And in pursuing a college education, I wanted to attend Fordham University. But that was really expensive. Even for me, it was around $50,000, and my parents and I couldn't even afford that. So the best option was CUNY, and I chose Lehman because I saw this as an opportunity to give back to my community, and I still hold this dream that one day I will be able to enlist in the Air Force and give back to my community. So right now, I am pursuing a degree, majoring in anthropology and health services administration, but I still haven't lost the faith that one day I will be able to fly and enlist in the Air Force, because even now, I hear my friends, when we were in the JROTC, we used to talk about where we're gonna go, to the Army, to the Marines, to the Navy, and I always used to go and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to the Air Force. And I was really proud, and now I hear them and they talk to me. They're saying, you know, I'm starting basic training soon, or I'm getting deployed to this place, and I feel really sad and depressed because I can't do anything for this country, and I want to give back to this country, especially for those people who supported me, who embraced me, and for that, I am undocumented and unafraid. Thank you.
Now we'll do another little chant. So it's gonna go, okay, so we're gonna say, Dreamers united will never be divided. You got it? Yeah. We had to be really, 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 really loud. Okay. Dreamers united will never be divided.
Dreamers united will never be divided.
Can't hear you. Dreamers united will never be divided.
Dreamers united will never be divided.
Yay! Woo! Now we're gonna have Caesar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, especially the Lehman Dream Team. In 2007, when the first DREAM Act vote that I can remember took place, I remember watching it from home. And I actually just graduated college, so at that point, I had no path to go. I was a college graduate and I couldn't do much with it. And standing in my living room, it was disappointing because I realized that my future was still at a standstill. However, I also realized that at that point that I was there because I was afraid. I saw many, many great undocumented students in Washington, D.C., and I said, why am I here? Why am I not there? I realized that I needed to step out, and I realized that I needed to gain the courage to speak out. So at that moment, I committed myself to make something of myself. And at that point, I realized that I needed to show courage for myself, for my family, and for my community. And today I stand as a third-year law student at the City University School of Law. I'm top of my class with a 3.8 GPA, with a full scholarship. And actually, my first time of actually telling my story and coming out of the shadows was in front of the Senate in Washington, D.C. last year. And as you can imagine, it was the pressure. But I needed to do it because for myself. And I needed to do it for every other undocumented student and every brave dreamer that currently is fighting for their dreams. Now, I stand here beside you, committed to this cause, because especially with the job market in law students, there's hundreds across the nation who are unemployed or have no job opportunities. And yet for me, as an undocumented law student, I received about five just New York job opportunities, government, and including international. And I would like to actually point out the fact that international opportunities out there for a law student. It's interesting because I know if I could go abroad, I could make a great living. Great living. I could leave this country and say, you know what, forget it. But I can't, because I'm committed to my family, myself, and to my fellow dreamers who are still fighting this battle. And I will never leave them behind. And that is why I'm here saying I am undocumented, unafraid, and unapologetic for our fight for justice. and we will continue to fight for this cause until our last breath. And I am so proud for the Lehman team that I wish when I was in college I had the ounce of courage that you guys are displaying today. And for that, I so thank you greatly, and I will support you till the end. Thank you.
We'll say another little chant. Okay, so the one we did in the beginning, the what do we want, Dream Act, when do we want it now? Got it? What do we want?
Dream Act!
What do we want?
Dream Act!
When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want it?
Now!
Yay! Now we're gonna have Renisha, who's gonna be telling us a poem. Oh, there you go.
Hi, everybody. Okay. We are the students sitting in your classes, the ones you might never suspect, some with thick accents, others already Americanized. The ones they stamp illegal, banana boat, alien, unwanted, unneeded, undocumented. As if we aren't people with the same red hearts and blue veins. As if we too aren't dreamers. As if we brought ourselves here. Tell us, go back to where you come from. If only you knew you aren't native to this land either. Ask for an America without immigrants and you will have none. No schools, no government, no buildings, no people. No white men writing declarations because they too were immigrants. What will you do then? With no bricks supporting this nation, your foundation will easily crumble. We are here, studying to make your country a better place, as we always have. America, don't fool yourself. Don't break the same backs and bite the same hands that feed you. It isn't wise. They stamp us alien, wetback, banana boat, unwanted, unneeded. We are undocumented, but we are stepping out of the shadows. Freely and fearlessly, dreamers and supporters. Stepping out from the dark, no longer letting our silence and your ignorance be our definitions. Fearlessly and proud, we are telling our stories. This time you will hear. Listen to our voices. America, there's a lot we've been wanting to say. We will say it this time. Thank you.
Thank you for the poem, Renisha. Now we're going to have Victor. Give him a round of applause, please.
How's everybody doing? All right, so this is the first time I'm actually telling my story. And it's actually the hardest thing I've ever had to do all my life. When you look at me, at first you only see what's on the outside. My eyes, my hair, and the color of my skin. You'd see how I dress and talk, and you'd swear I was a regular person just like anybody else. But if I let you, you'd see that on the inside lies a complete different person. Inside lies someone who holds not one, but two secrets that tears him apart day after day. But one in particular creates a burden that surpasses the other. You'd also see a strong, hardworking, dedicated, and caring person. But to tell you the truth, I never thought I would be here at Lehman telling you this. Like many of my fellow dreamers, I found out I was undocumented at an early age, and since then, I have always felt like a second-class citizen. Always doing twice the amount of work than that of my fellow peers just to get by and feel at level with them. But never did I know that it would only get harder as time went on. In high school, while all of my friends were getting ready to apply for their permits, state IDs, summer jobs, colleges, financial aid, or to travel abroad, I was left in the shadows, never to know what life would be like if I had those privileges, which many of my friends seem to take for granted. As time went on, I began to feel oppressed. The fact that I was undocumented made me feel like I was stuck in limbo, not knowing whether I will have a future or not. And on top of that, trying to feel comfortable with myself, because I had discovered I was gay. And in time, I would fall into a depression because of this. There was a time when I felt so oppressed and discouraged that all I wanted to do was drop out, because I was afraid of being disappointed later in life because I couldn't make my dreams come true. But my Spanish teacher would not have it. She encouraged me and made me realize that if I wanted to change something, it would have to start with me. So I began doing this by proving to everyone that as an undocumented student, I could accomplish the same goals that many of my peers could too. Such as being the first in my family to graduate from high school and get into a college, which I never thought was possible without a social security card. Thank you, CUNY. I found that I have an aptitude for languages and other cultures. America is supposed to be a melting pot where its people learn from each other to appreciate diversity. I come from a diverse family and speak 9 languages and tell you that, and you tell me I'm not a living example of what this country was originally supposed to represent, an American. In the end, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not ashamed of being an undocumented student, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be the strong and hardworking person I am today. It's because of that I know the true value of an education and what it means to have a dream. It is because of that I know I will someday be a great linguist, and that I don't think a piece of paper, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me whether I'm an American or not, because in my heart, I know I'm just as American as anybody else, watching Glee on a Tuesday night, eating Chinese food, and washing it down with agua de horchata. Come on. You wanna know what? Because I'm more than American at heart. I'm a dreamer. And I'm gay and I'm proud and I'm undocumented, unafraid and unapologetic.